What is it for?
Yeah, it does go back to looking for purpose in terms of the world. And so you could say that the world was made in hatred. That's what it was made for. That's what its purpose was. It was designed from hatred and for hatred. And for most people, if they look at all the wars and the conflicts that go on every scale, from interpersonal to psychic conflicts to families, societies, countries clashing, detonating nuclear devices in Hiroshima, Nagasaki, for whatever, it's vicious. Even when you look at, we had a show called Marlon Perkins' Animal Kingdom, which would just go out and they would film nature, and it was cannibalistic. Everything eating everything else, and they would just go around and filming. And you'd film in this, and then you film a little more, you film a little more. It was just, who's going to get eaten today? Who is lunch today? Is really, they could have called the thing. And so on every single level, that hatred and that viciousness is played out. So then we could say that in the Course in Miracles, Jesus has said, well, the instant that this whole world was spun out, the whole cosmos was spun out, simultaneously, the same instant the answer was given. So that answer is a new purpose. Now this is the purpose that we give to the world. We take the world as it was, and we give it to the Holy Spirit, and we say, show it to me another way. It cannot really be for hatred. It cannot really be for attack. That can't be the purpose of the world. There has to be another purpose for it. And that purpose of forgiveness is a way to define forgiveness would be to see the false as false. So it's not like we're trying to interpose like some kind of a positive meaning on what was made out of hate. We're just withdrawing the old purpose from it, and we're just humbly saying to the Spirit, show me the world anew, give me the world back in a new way, where I can appreciate it, where I can have a sense of gratitude for everything and everyone in it. Show me a world where there's no enemies. Show me a world where there's no sickness. Show me a world where there's no death, where there's no conflict. Show me the world from a higher perspective. And in that sense, that is the purpose of the world. It's just that if you look for that purpose to have some kind of specific meaning, like a happy ending somehow, whatever that would be, it still misses the mark of what's possible, of seeing it all from a higher perspective or unified. So there's so many great parables and stories about that kind of show, is this really good? Is this really bad? Am I seeing this correctly at all? In this world, it depends on the culture, but in general, there's a more of a predominant view that birth is better than death. Birth is something that's usually celebrated in most cultures, and death is something that's mourned or grieved. And you could take just those two things, or you could look at it from many other things, that really this healing that we're going through, this retranslation, is saying no, no things, there aren't events and outcomes that are good or bad. But there is another way of looking at the world that will show you the world is just false. But who you are is true. Who you are spiritually is true.
That is maybe our lesson, to see this is the wrong way.
Yeah. it is our lesson to see the world anew, and in that sense, it doesn't matter how many times we go through these different loops and we play these things out. The goal is to see the world from a state of non-judgment and see that it never meant what we thought it meant. And so, as you start to just faintly grasp that, there's a sense of deep relaxation, because you're not trying to steer the world in a certain direction, or you're not trying to make it go a certain way. It's like you can start to see things all as equally acceptable. Every conceivable outcome can be seen from a higher perspective, and in that sense, it's made new. There's not a sense of trying to fight against something, change the world. It's a huge leap in consciousness to just see that you don't have to change the world. You can rest, you can relax. You don't have to change the body. You don't have to make it a better body. You don't have to change your partner. You don't have to change your family. You don't have to go around and change governments. That those kind of things come up. I know those are the questions I get a lot of times. Can we not have a better this or a better that? And it's like, if you could see behind that, you would just see that you really don't want that. You just want peace.
Yeah. Thank you.
What is it for?